At the time of this recording, we are a few weeks away from the rematch between Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury. Both of these men fought earlier in the year for the undisputed heavyweight crown, which is all 4 belts, but now they'll be only fighting for 3 of the belts because Daniel Dubois fought for the vacant IBF title against Joshua. With a fight this big coming up, I thought it was only right that I made a video on this. In this video, I'll be discussing why I believe Usyk is going to batter Fury. Both of these men got into the ring with each other earlier this year in Riyadh. Before the fight, I made a prediction that Usyk would win via decision over Fury, but I wasn't expecting such a dominant performance. Usyk did face several challenges against Fury, but because of his superhuman conditioning and high-class skills, he was able to come out on top. Usyk would start the fight coming out strong and setting a high pace. He was using his fast footwork to get past Fury's lead hand and throwing a high volume of combinations. Fury seemed like he was struggling to find his distance at this point, but was able to steal some of the early rounds by showboating to minimize how successful Usyk was looking. After the 4th round, Fury had started to get the hang of Usyk's speed and timing and was able to catch Usyk with the uppercut. Fury would continue this success with Usyk struggling to find a way inside right up until the 7th round. Usyk started to tighten up his guard to absorb the uppercut and would keep pressuring Fury by staying on him. Fury seemed to start getting tired because he was getting sloppy with his movement, and Usyk managed to catch him with the left hand. Fury seemed to look uncomfortable from this point, and in the 9th round, Usyk was able to catch him again and wobble him. The ref would give Fury a standing count and Fury would finish the round. Coming into the last few rounds, both men were tired, but Usyk dug deep and kept up his pressure to finish the fight as the more dominant boxer out of the two. Coming into the rematch, both men have a lot of information to work with from their first fight. It's no surprise that we've seen more weaknesses from Fury as he's the one who lost the fight. One of the most obvious weaknesses we saw in Fury is his conditioning. Fury's conditioning isn't great, and Usyk was able to push the pace of the fight to a point where Fury got tired. Usyk is known for his world-class conditioning. He's known to cycle up to 100 kilometers, swim for up to 5 hours straight, and has been recorded to be able to hold his breath underwater for more than 4 minutes. Fury should avoid trying to fight at Usyk's pace and should instead focus on trying to slow the pace down. This can be done through clinching to stop Usyk from unloading combinations, feinting to make Usyk hesitate on coming in, and using his jab more to keep Usyk out of firing range. The second Fury lets Usyk take control of the fight, Usyk will bring the pace up and cause Fury to gas out. Usyk will probably be trying to keep up a high work rate, forcing exchanges to try and get Fury tired. He may even go for a late stoppage because we've seen that he has the power to hurt Fury once he gets Fury tired. I also believe that Fury is actually a little overrated. He definitely has the talent and potential to be a great fighter, but a closer look at his career shows that he may not be as good as he puts on. He had a great trilogy with Deontay Wilder, who at the time was probably the most dangerous puncher in boxing, but Deontay Wilder has a glaringly obvious weakness. His boxing skills aren't that great. He has a solid jab and a cannon for a right hand, but that's pretty much where his skills end. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to hate on Wilder because he's achieved a lot with what he has, but Wilder and his team would carefully pick their opponents to ensure as much success as possible. It took Fury coming over to America to make the fight happen. Since his first loss to Fury, he's gone 1-4, and the world sees how vulnerable he really was as a champion. Fury spent the next 2 years after this fight having money fights without really pushing himself, facing Dillian Whyte, who was never really world level, and Derek Chisora, who at this point is approaching retirement. He would then go on to face Francis Ngannou in his pro debut, who would give Fury one of his hardest fights, knocking him down in the 3rd round. Of course, Fury had to get the decision because it was in Riyadh and they were getting ready to set up the first Fury-Usyk fight. They can't have one of their fighters losing at this stage before their big event. Usyk, on the other hand, spent the past 2 years fighting Anthony Joshua twice for the world titles, and Daniel Dubois, who would go on to knock out Anthony Joshua to become a world champion. This difference in recent experience definitely affected how good they were in the ring with each other. Now, people were wondering how Fury would take his first loss, and the tabloids were already reporting that he was causing trouble, getting kicked out of pubs, and getting drunk. The thing is, Fury's always been like this. He lives his life to the fullest, enjoying himself in any opportunity he can get. I got nothing against this because it's his life and his money, but it also means that this type of behavior is probably just normal to him and doesn't have much to do with his loss. We were still left with a lot of questions as to how both fighters were coping mentally with the rematch coming up, and we got the answer to this in their recent press conference. The mind games already began from Usyk, with him coming dressed as Agent 47 from The Hitman. To be fair to Usyk, he's always been a bit of an unserious person, so he was probably just trying to match Fury's humor. Fury seemed to find this funny, and both fighters were quite calm during the press conference. A lot of people will analyze every bit of movement these guys had, like who broke eye contact first, or how was their posture. I don't believe that sort of thing means much here. We've seen plenty of examples where fighters act a certain way outside the ring and don't match that energy when it matters. One thing I did find interesting is that Fury recently said he's only fighting for money and doesn't care about anything else. I don't think this is the right mentality to have, because Usyk is coming into this fight for his legacy. legacy and is still hungry to prove to the world that he's the best to ever do it. Fury, on the other hand, is just trying to make as much money as possible, and this means he may not be as hungry to prove himself. Both fighters are very different individuals, and this shows in their preparation coming into the rematch. Although Fury himself said that Usyk won fair and square, his team claimed that because he cut his eyebrow early into the camp for their first fight, they had to stop all sparring and weren't able to work on the things they wanted to. Missing out on sparring is a massive hindrance to preparing a fighter, but it shouldn't be used as an excuse. Tyson Fury cutting his eyebrow from an elbow in sparring is something that happened within their own gym, and this problem with the preparation is a reflection on their own ability to prepare for a fight correctly. This time around, Fury's team has been a lot more careful with their sparring, and we may see a sharper, more reactive Fury. Usyk has followed a strict regimen his entire career. Even outside of camp, he's known to stay in shape and always stay ready. His training camps are known to be highly intense, using unorthodox workouts which push the limits of his abilities. His sparring has always been top tier, bringing in dozens of the best fighters in the world because iron sharpens iron. He's known to train up to 3 times a day, routinely using long distance biking or swimming to boost his cardio. He's also spent the last few years building his body from a cruiserweight to a respectable heavyweight. I think this fight will probably be closer than the last one because both fighters are able to prepare for each other after facing off against each other for 12 rounds, and their training camps will target each other's weaknesses. Fury will probably work on sparring high work rate southpaws to get used to Usyk's pressure, and Usyk will probably bring in tall boxers with a similar style to Fury. I don't think Usyk could improve his conditioning past what it's already at, whereas Fury has a lot more room to get fitter. We may see Fury showing up in better shape, but I still think Usyk will be able to push him past his breaking point. Coming into the first fight, a lot of fans believed that Fury would be too big and too strong for Usyk, and that Usyk was just a blown up cruiserweight. Usyk was able to silence the doubters and managed to pull off an incredible win over the Giant to become the first undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis. Coming into the rematch, fans have of course switched sides and believe that Usyk will take the win to be 2-0 in their rivalry. Usyk certainly does have the ability to pull it off, but with boxing, anything can happen. Fury has been known to do quite well in rematches, as we saw with Wilder, where he noticed Wilder's weakness to pressure in their first fight, adapted to this, and managed to stop him over the course of their next 2 fights. I believe there could be a chance that Fury adapts to Usyk's style and puts up a better performance in the rematch. The rematch will be held in Riyadh again, as they were able to put up the money to make the rematch happen, with Turkey being largely responsible for this event. This is probably the best case scenario because the Saudis are neutral in a fight between Usyk and Fury, so we're less likely to see any foul play happening like a robbery occurring. It's no secret that Turkey probably favoured Tyson Fury because him winning the first fight would have set up the highly anticipated Fury versus Joshua, but with both fighters losing, this is probably no longer the case. It's looking like if Usyk manages to pull off the win again, we will see him having a rematch with Dubois. I'm hoping that Fury is able to win this rematch because I would rather see Fury Usyk go again for a trilogy over an Usyk Dubois rematch. Although Dubois was having success in his fight with Usyk, it was clear that they were worlds apart. I believe that Usyk will probably win this rematch, and he may even win by late stoppage. I don't think Fury has the conditioning to keep up with Usyk over a long period of time, and I think as the fight goes on, he will start to unravel and become sloppy, leading to openings for Usyk to take. Let me know in the comments how you guys think this rematch will go, and what fights are you looking forward to in the heavyweight division.